Okay, think about it for a second. Any big project you've ever been a part of, could be in school, could be at work, doesn't matter. There's always that one central question, right? How do you actually get a bunch of people to pull in the same direction and do something incredible? Well, that is the heart of leadership. And today, we're going to crack open the leader's playbook to see how our thinking on that has totally changed over the years. So, first things first, let's dive into a classic debate. You hear the words manager and leader all the time, right? People use them like they mean the exact same thing. But do they? The answer is a hard no. And honestly, getting the difference between these two is the key that unlocks this entire playbook. All right, let's start with management. The textbook definition is pretty simple. Getting things done through other people. It's all about the mechanics, the logistics. Think of a manager as the engineer of the team. Their job is to keep the machine oiled and running smoothly. They organize things, they track progress, they make sure everyone is following the plan. Okay, now let's flip that coin and look at leadership. The key words here are just everything: influencing and willingly. See, leadership isn't about barking orders. It's about inspiring people so that they actually want to do the work. It's not about managing a process. It's about getting people fired up to join a mission. And this breakdown from the leadership guru Warren Bennis just nails it. A manager administers. A leader innovates. A manager is focused on the systems, while the leader is focused on the people. But this one is the real kicker. A manager does things right. They follow the playbook. But a leader, they do the right thing. They write the playbook. It's the difference between the how and the why. So, to really get how we got to this point, we need to rewind the clock way back. Because the first real stabs at organizing work, they weren't about people at all. Nope. It was all about building the perfect, unstoppable machine. It was a hunt for that one magic formula for getting things done. So picture this. It's the turn of the 20th century. You've got these thinkers like Henri Fayol starting to map out the basics of management. But then this guy, Frederick Taylor, comes along and he wants to turn the whole thing into a hardcore science. His big idea was called scientific management, and it was all about one thing: optimizing every single human movement for pure, uncut efficiency. Taylor's whole system was basically a four-step recipe for the perfect factory. Step 1, scientifically break down the work. Step 2, scientifically pick the perfect person for that job. And then, steps 3 and 4 are about creating a system where management does all the brain work and the workers just execute perfectly. No wasted motion, no second guessing. I mean, it's super efficient, totally logical, and completely, utterly cold. And right there, that was the massive, glaring blind spot in this whole people as machines idea. By focusing only on the task, it completely forgot about the person doing the task. It treated people like cogs in a wheel, ignoring their creativity, their feelings, their need to connect with other people. It missed the most important variable in the entire equation: the human. Which, of course, brings us to the next major chapter in our story, the moment we started to discover the ghost in the machine, the human inside the worker. And well, that discovery changed absolutely everything. This is where a guy named Elton Mayo comes in and just completely flips the script. His research, which became known as the Human Relations School, uncovered something that sounds so obvious to us now but was mind-blowing back then. It turns out people want more from a job than just money. Shocker, right? His team found that performance absolutely skyrockets when people feel like they have some say in their work, and this is the big one, when they feel connected to their coworkers. And this quote from his research really gets to the heart of it all. The need to belong to a group, to have some status in that group, it turned out to be more important than how much you were paid or how nice the workplace was. Just let that sink in for a second. The social connections at work were a stronger motivator than cold, hard cash. I mean, this was a total earthquake. For the first time ever, the spotlight shifted away from just the task and finally landed on the people doing the task. It forced a complete rethink of what actually makes work, well, work. So all of this brings us to right now, to the modern era. And what we've learned is that great leadership isn't about picking a side, team machine or team human. It's about having a flexible toolkit that knows how to balance both productivity and people. So after this whole journey, this tug of war between tasks and people, you've got to be wondering, right? Is there one single best leadership style? Is there that magic bullet that works every single time for every team? Well, the modern answer is Kind of simple, actually. It depends. Yep, that's it. The most effective leaders, they're not one-trick ponies. They're more like chameleons. They're adaptable. They have this whole range of styles in their back pocket, and their real skill is knowing exactly which one to pull out for the job at hand. And to get a handle on how they adapt, you can pretty much boil it all down to two core concerns. On one side of the scale, you've got concern for the task. This is all about results, efficiency, hitting those deadlines. And on the other side, you've got concern for people. This is about relationships, morale, and just the well-being of your team. Now, a couple of thinkers named Blake and Mouton took these two concerns and built this awesome framework called the managerial grid. It basically gives us 5 classic leadership types. Down in the corner, you've got the avoider. Doesn't care about the task, doesn't care about the people. Total ghost. Then you have the friend, who's all about making people happy, but the work never really gets done. The exact opposite is the taskmaster, who will run you into the ground to hit a deadline. And smack in the middle is the compromiser, who kind of gets okay results, but nothing spectacular. But the holy grail, the leader you want to be, is the team leader. This is the person who gets the big secret. The task and the people aren't enemies. They actually feed each other. When you show a high concern for your people, you build a team that's committed, engaged, and genuinely cares about the goal. And that is how you get off-the-charts results. So let's just zoom out for a second and look at this whole journey. We started out trying to build the perfect machine. Then we stumbled upon the soul of the machine, the people. And today, we've landed in a place that blends the two, where the best leaders are the ones with a flexible toolkit, who know just how to balance what needs to get done with the people who have to do it. And look, the most important thing to take away from all of this is that these aren't just some dusty old theories from a textbook. They're tools, real, practical tools. They're lenses you can use to see your team more clearly, and frameworks that can help you make way better decisions, like right now. So there you have it. We flipped through the leader's playbook from the very first page right up to the modern day. You've seen the tools, you've seen how the game has changed. Now that playbook is yours. So the only question left is, what kind of leader are you going to be?